Hello students, welcome to your biology class. Today I am going to start with one of the cell organelles, mitochondria. Mitochondria are known as the powerhouses of the cell. The energy required for various chemical activities needed for life is released by mitochondria. So mitochondria, these are known as the powerhouses of the cell. Why these are so called? The energy required for various chemical activities needed for life is released by mitochondria, and it is released in the form of ATP. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is also known as energy currency of the cell. This is also known as energy currency of the cell, because the body uses energy stored in ATP for making new chemical compounds and for mechanical work. So whether chemical or mechanical activity, the energy which is needed is we get it from which is stored in ATP. Mitochondria, the structure of a mitochondria, they have two membrane coverings instead of just one. The outer membrane is very porous while the inner membrane is deeply folded. These folds create a large surface area for ATP generating chemical reactions. And mitochondria, it is a strange organelle because they have their own DNA and ribosomes. Therefore, mitochondria are able to make some of their own proteins. So, they have their own DNA and ribosomes, and they are able to make some of their own proteins. Let us see the structure of a mitochondria. Mitochondria, it has two membranes. The outer membrane, which is porous, which I have drawn with red, and this is porous, it has pores on it. And the inner membrane, that is which I have drawn with violet, the inner membrane, it is deeply infolded. It is deeply infolded. And this infolded part of the organelle which increases the surface area, and it helps in formation of ATP generation. It is helpful. So these are the parts of mitochondria we discussed. Now next cell organelle which we are going to discuss about, plastids. Plastids are present only in plant cells. This cell organelle is present only in plant cells. There are two types of plastids, chromoplasts, which are colored, and leucoplasts, which are white or colorless. Plastids containing the pigment chlorophyll are known as chloroplasts. If it contains green pigment, that is chlorophyll, which is helping the plant to prepare the food, these plastids are called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are important for photosynthesis in plants. Chloroplasts also contain various yellow or orange pigments in addition to chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment. Along with that, they contain yellow or orange pigments also. Leucoplasts are primarily organelles in which materials such as starch, oils, and protein granules are stored. So, leucoplast mainly helps the plant to store materials such as starch, oils, and protein granules. The internal organization of plastids consists of numerous membrane layers embedded in a material called stroma. So it has some numerous membrane layers which are embedded in a material that is called stroma. It is a holding substance. Plastids are similar to mitochondria in external structure. Externally, it looks like that of mitochondria, but inside structure which is different. Like the mitochondria, plastids also have their own DNA and ribosomes. So you got two cell organelles which have their own DNA and ribosomes. Let us see the parts of the chloroplast. Chloroplast, here you see it also had two membranes. One is the outer membrane and the other one is the inner membrane. As this is cut open, you see this yellow dotted structure which I have drawn here. This yellow dotted structure, this is actually the holding substance or the matrix, what we say, that is stroma. And inside here you see some disc like structures. this type of disc-like structures which are there. This is actually this membrane bound structure which is in stacks in these layers you see over here. So this numerous, this disc-like structures which are there, this portion what we say the grana. And so here inside this remains, see I have drawn here, this inside this remains the pigment chlorophyll and the other pigments also. So this is the structure of the, and these are actually called thylakoid, and this is the structure of the chloroplast. Now next which we are going to discuss, vacuoles. Vacuoles are storage sacs for solid or liquid contents. So it is a, these are storage sacs, that is it stores material. Vacuoles are small in size in animal cells, while plant cells have very large vacuoles. The central vacuole of some plant cells may occupy 50 to 90% of the cell volume. That is almost the most part of the cell is occupied by vacuole. In case of some mature plant cells, it has been observed. In plant cells, vacuoles are full of cell sap. It is full of cell sap. Cell sap, that means what, along with water, salts and other substances like amino acids, sugar which are there, and provide turgidity and rigidity. Turgidity and rigidity to the cell. Turgidity, that is the solid state of the cell, is maintained by vacuole, and it also supports the cell. Many substances of importance in the life of the plant cell are stored in vacuoles. So many substances which are important like amino acids, sugars, various organic acids and some proteins, these are stored in the vacuoles. In animals, in single-celled organisms like amoeba, the food vacuole contains the food items that amoeba has consumed. So amoeba, when it engulfs its food, it forms a food vacuole. Inside remains the food where it is being digested. In some unicellular organisms, specialized vacuoles also play important role in expelling water, excess water and some waste from the cell. These are called contractile vacuoles. So it helps the animal to, this unicellular organism, to expel out excess water and waste material. So these are vacuoles. Let us see. In the plant cell, here you see this, the blank looking space, as if it is empty, nothing is there, but it contains many substances in this blank looking space, that is called the vacuole. It is large, most of the cell, see, it is occupied by vacuole. It is in a plant cell. In animal cell, you see the vacuoles which are smaller in size, right, and it is many in number. So the different cell organelles which we have discussed, almost to the end of the chapter we have come. So each cell thus acquires its structure and ability to function because of the organization of its membrane and organelles in specific ways. See, cell as a unit, it is working, right? So how it is organized? It has the membranes and the organelles. In specific ways it is organized. See, in the cell we read the basic components: plasma membrane, inner to that the jelly-like fluid cytoplasm and the nucleus. These are the basic components, and in the cytoplasm specific parts are there, that is what we say organelles, which are also membrane bound, and it is helping the cell to perform various functions. What are these? It may be respiration, obtaining nutrition and clearing the waste materials. Today we read about some of this, like respiration. Mitochondria helps in respiration, obtaining nutrition and clearing of waste materials, or forming new proteins. These all are the various functions which are performed by specific parts of the cell. So it is organized in such a way so that it becomes a fundamental structural unit of living organisms. It is also basic functional unit of life. So it is forming the structure and it is performing the functions also. So today up to this much, I would request you to see the description box where I have given a worksheet. Little bit left of this chapter that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you, children.